there, cozy builders. My name is Sam, and welcome to my Tiny Glade series. In this series, I take inspiration from either the daily Tiny Glade pre-builds, real historical buildings, or mythical places from around the world, and I try and create a beautiful scene within a 1-hour time frame. Then I add some fast-forward magic and share a few fun tidbits related to the build. Today I'm excited to build the beautiful Chatsworth House, a grand English estate and the backdrop to many television and film productions. My personal favorite being the home of Mr. Darcy from the 2005 film Pride and Prejudice. Chatsworth House is a magnificent home located in Derbyshire, England. It is the home to the Duke and Duchess of Devonshire and has been home to the Cavendish family since the 1500s. The home was originally built for Elizabeth Talbot, who was more famously known as Bess of Hardwicke, one of the most powerful women in Elizabethan England, after she married her second husband, Sir William Cavendish, a courtier under King Henry VIII. Bess and William had several children, and their second son, William Cavendish, was deemed Earl of Devonshire in 1618. In 1694, William Cavendish, the fourth Earl of Devonshire, was elevated to the first Duke of Devonshire by King William III for his support during the Glorious Revolution. These titles, along with Bess's subsequent marriages, elevated the family into English aristocracy and allowed the Devonshires to expand and redesign the home. Centuries later, the estate contains over 30 rooms, including a grand painted hall, sculpture gallery, and libraries. Its gardens spanned over 100 acres, with a stepped waterfall, yew hedge maze, and one of the earliest and largest man-made rock gardens in the world. There is a sculpture trail and a 300-foot fountain, which was at one point the tallest gravity-fed fountain in the world. The estate includes a farmyard, wooden trails, and historical parkland. So today I thought I would spend some time focusing on a few of the more interesting facts that make Chatsworth so famous, starting with the construction and reconstruction of the estate. The structure we see today is not the original Chatsworth House. The estate has been rebuilt and expanded several times throughout its history. As we know, the original Tudor mansion was commissioned by Bess of Hardwicke in the mid-1500s. A Tudor-style house often includes exposed wooden beams with plaster infill, ornate brickwork, and prominent chimneys and rooftops. Tudor buildings around that time often showcased features from medieval fortresses. They were cozy and rustic, emphasizing function and tradition over ornamentation. In the late 17th century, the first Duke of Devonshire initiated a major Baroque transformation, a design style that emerged in Italy and spread across Europe as a grand, theatrical style with a focus on grand entries and flowing interiors. Carvings, sculptures, and lavish interior decorations were designed to impress and reflect wealth and sophistication. The transformation demolished much of the earlier structure and redesigned it to reflect the grandeur of European palaces. The 19th century brought further changes under the sixth Duke, who, with the help of Joseph Paxton, a brilliant English gardener, architect, and engineer, added significant architectural features like the Great Conservatory, the Sculpture Gallery, and most famously, the Emperor Fountain. Each phase of development was shaped by the tastes and ambitions of the time, making Chatsworth a living documentation of English architectural history. A little known but fascinating part of Chatsworth's infrastructure is the quarter-mile underground tunnel built during the 19th century. Designed to keep the estate's many servants hidden from guests, The tunnel connected key service areas and allowed for the quiet, unseen movements of staff. This hidden passage is a stark reminder of the strict social hierarchies of Victorian Britain, where impeccable hospitality often depended on the invisibility of those who provided it. Parts of the tunnel still exist and are occasionally open to visitors. Chatsworth's expansive art collection spans from ancient Egyptian sculpture to contemporary masterpieces, showcasing thousands of years of human creativity under one roof. The gallery spaces include works from Rembrandt, Lucian Freud, and drawings by Da Vinci. The gallery holds centuries of family portraits and royal commissions, giving insight into fashion, power, and history through portraiture. There is also an extensive sculptural gallery that was built in the early 19th century. This light-filled space houses over 100 classical and neoclassical sculptures, some of which are older than the estate itself. Chatsworth continues to commission and showcase contemporary artists, blending old and new dynamic exhibitions, and despite being privately owned, the collection is largely open to the public and meticulously maintained, making it accessible and influential in both art and heritage circles. In most recent decades, it's been known for hosting contemporary art exhibitions and festivals that feature talks and installations by living artists. These programs have helped transform Chatsworth into a space where tradition meets innovation, ensuring its relevancy for new generations. The rockery at Chatsworth, built in the 1840s, was among the earliest and largest rock gardens in Europe. Designed during the Victorian era obsession with picturesque, vast, and overwhelming natural scenes, the garden sprawls across 4 acres and features boulders weighing up to 20 tons. These boulders were arranged to resemble a dramatic alpine landscape, complete with ravines and winding paths. Some rocks were mounted on mechanical pivots, allowing them to rotate for theatrical effect. The rockery is both a botanical garden and a monumental landscape feature. It is an ambitious blend of horticulture and performance, designed to evoke a sense of awe. Constructed in 1843 by Joseph Paxton, the Emperor Fountain is a remarkable example of 19th century engineering. It was designed to impress Tsar Nicholas I of Russia, who was rumored to be planning a visit. Although the Tsar never arrived, the fountain was completed in just 6 months and remains one of Chatsworth's most impressive features. Fed entirely by gravity, the fountain shoots water nearly 300 feet into the air from an artificial lake. At the time, it was the tallest gravity-fed fountain in the world and a symbol of Chatsworth's technological and aesthetic innovation. The reservoir also helped power an early hydroelectrical turbine that provided electricity to the estate. Among the most eccentric features in Chatsworth's history was a full-size taxidermy elephant named Samson, which once greeted guests in the entrance hall. Gifted to the 6th Duke of Devonshire, the elephant had been killed in 1829 and preserved as an imperial curiosity. The display was a vivid symbol of the Duke's taste for the exotic and unusual, reflecting the 19th century fascination with natural history. Though eventually removed in the 20th century, the presence of Samson lives on in stories and historical accounts, representing one of the more bizarre but memorable aspects of Chatsworth's past. Fountains, renovations, and elephants aside, a small but important moment in Chatsworth's history was in 1832, when 13-year-old Princess Victoria visited Chatsworth with her mother, the Duchess of Kent, during a royal tour of England. This visit was one of the princess's first experiences with the grandeur of English aristocratic life outside of her own family, and made a strong impression. Victoria's letters from that time reference the opulence of the estate, the elegance of the gardens, and the warmth of her reception. This stay marked an early connection between the future monarch and the great English house that defined the social fabric of the period. Shifting through time a little bit, one of the most colorful chapters in Chatsworth's modern history involves Deborah Mitford, who became Duchess of Devonshire after marrying Andrew Cavendish, the 11th Duke of Devonshire. Deborah's 5 sisters were each famously unorthodox. Unity befriended Hitler, Jessica became a communist activist in the US, Diana married British fascist Oswald Mosley, and Nancy was a renowned novelist. Despite this complex family legacy, Deborah brought stability, wit, and energy to Chatsworth. She played a crucial role in opening the estate to the public after World War II, writing books, modernizing operations, and ensuring the estate's financial survival. Her leadership helped reframe Chatsworth not as a relic, but as a thriving home and cultural destination. Lastly, Chatsworth's popularity around the world was cemented when it became the stand-in for Pemberley in the 2005 film adaptation of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Austen herself had visited Chatsworth and referenced it in the novel, likely inspiring her vision of Mr. Darcy's estate. In the film, key scenes were shot in the sculptural gallery and across the gardens, blending real heritage with fictional romance. The display of a fictional bust of Mr. Darcy caused such a stir amongst fans that it became an iconic symbol of the adaptation. Following the film's release, Chatsworth saw a notable increase in tourism, reaffirming the power of storytelling and bringing historical spaces to life. In Pride and Prejudice, its beauty and quiet strength reflected Mr. Darcy's character, proud on the outside, but deeply thoughtful within. But Chatsworth is more than a pretty backdrop. Over time, the dukes and duchesses of Devonshire ultimately transformed the grand Baroque estate into a symbol of dynastic wealth, art collecting, and political influence, cementing their legacy as one of Britain's most powerful and enduring aristocratic families. And there we have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this build and learning about Chatsworth House. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to stay up to date on my next upload. Thank you for spending this time with me in Tiny Glade, and I'll see you next time. Bye!